Hey, everybody. Just wanted to and look, I got a little better camera angle too. Just wanted to pop on the air. I promised myself I was not going to do this today. I promised myself I was going to take the day off from any of this internet stuff, from any broadcasting, from anything. But I've seen some things over the last 24 hours or so that just that haven't sat right with me. And so I kind of want to talk about this for just a second. And this is for my fellow iHeart folks that were given the heave ho this week. And there are lots and lots and lots. There are websites that are chronicling them. And the list is massive. And I know of people that are not on that list. Now, I'm not going to contribute people's names to that list because I think it's up to people to let other people know that they're on that list of people who are without a job. There are some people that are immensely talented that are on that list. But one of the things that I have noticed as I've kind of poked around the internet, and I have been poking around again, a lot of it is just to see if friends of mine are gone. And there are friends of mine who are gone. There are friends of mine whose positions have been eliminated. And again, some people that I think really highly of who are out on the streets. But I've seen a lot of videos lately of iHeart folks giving farewell. And they're very emotional and they're very downbeat and they're very sad. And so I want to kind of talk to you guys about this. This is, I know other people are going to be watching this. And I also know that eventually this is going to get around to a lot of iHeart people because it will be shared. And I also know that people within iHeart will see this, and they're probably not going to like some of the things I have to say, but I'm going to say them. First off, as I said, I'm seeing a lot of tears and a lot of listlessness and a lot of sadness and melancholy. And I get it. This was devastating. It was a very difficult blow. Some of us were having the time of our lives doing exactly what we want to do and what we were born to do. But guess what? We can still do it. I want to talk about this. I want to make sure that if you're going online and you're posting sad farewells to your listeners and you're upset and you're showing how upset you are in whatever way that is, I just want to make sure that that's not all you're going to do. I want to make sure that you're not just going to sit and wallow. And yeah, I know it's only been a couple of days. But I have a few questions to ask you. Did you show up every day? Did you focus while you were working on building your brand? Were you someone consistently on the air that you were also in public and in real life and behind closed doors? Did you do things for your community and not just for a check? And not just for the publicity and not just because it was a paid sponsorship, but something that was just for the betterment of your community? Did you come up with ideas from that perspective? I'm reminded of a thing that happened a few years ago in our market. In Brunswick, we used to run the Steve Harvey Morning Show, and Steve Harvey at one point started giving away 100 Thanksgiving turkeys to every market. And it was interesting because when it first started, it was Steve Harvey's giving 100 turkeys away. Just give them away however you see fit. Don't really mention his name. Don't make a big deal out of it. Within a few years, it became, hey, make sure you you give all the publicity to Steve Harvey's Morning Show turkey giveaway. And by the way, over the years, they've started whittling away at that and expecting other people to take up the slack. Well, they were giving 100 turkeys to every market, and we would do something with them. We would give them away. We would find ways to distribute them to people. And we dropped the Steve Harvey Morning Show from our programming, and people were still looking for the turkeys. Yolanda Neely had been on board on the station that Steve Harvey was on, and she had kind of grown the event into more than just a Thanksgiving turkey giveaway, but rather Thanksgiving dinner where you would get sides and everything, and we would get sponsors to pay for those. And Yolanda wasn't with us anymore because iHeart had a massive bloodbath, and people were still looking for their turkey giveaway. So I went on the air and reached out to the community, to my audience of my show. We had 5 stations in Brunswick, but I didn't reach out on the other 4 stations for contributions. I reached out on my station because that's where I knew I had built my brand, I had built my credibility, and I asked people to donate just money that we could take and turn into turkeys so that we could still give these people turkeys. And that first year, we didn't have a sponsor. We publicized it, yes, because we wanted people to know that we were going to give away 100 turkey dinners. And within no time, we had the money to do it. And in fact, not only did we have the money to do it, to buy 100 turkeys and give away 100 full Thanksgiving dinners with sides and all for 4 people, but we had people clamoring to be part of it. We had people asking us, what about next year? What can we do? What can we do to help? And eventually it became so big that, yes, we had sponsors, but also we had leftover money because people were just donating so much. And we turned that into, we let people know ahead of time, we turned that into a donation to the Glenn Community Crisis Center, which helps people who are victims of domestic violence. It's a very, very wonderful organization headed by some great folks. We did that for them. And we had continued to do that for them every single year. And we were going to do it for them, whether there was a sponsor, whether there was publicity. You know, the newspaper shows up for a lot of turkey giveaways and charitable events. Newspaper never showed up for our event because the newspaper doesn't particularly like me, and that's fine. But we didn't do it so that the newspaper would cover it. We didn't do that so that TV stations would show up and cover it. We did it because it was the right thing to do for our community. Did you do anything like that? Did you ask people to be part of something big for your community? And I'll tell you something that happened over time. We were able to grow it to 120 turkey giveaways, full turkey dinners. And people were actually asking us if we would like to do more. The problem was our staff was so little, as you know, there just was no way to reasonably do it. And so what we would do is take that extra money, we would donate it to the Glenn Community Crisis Center. Is that what your brand was? Did you build relationships with people in your community? The people, not just that you could help out, people who could help you out as well, people who could move levers for you. Did you do things for people in the community that would make the community better, while at the same time knowing they could help you as well someday? Were you authentic in what you said on the air, or did you just say things to push people's buttons? I've been accused of that, and there are times when I have pushed people's buttons, but it wasn't for the sake of just pushing buttons. It was because I believed something that just happened to be a hot button issue or a hot button take. But when you get people riled up for your own benefit and for no other reason than your own benefit, you're not authentic. In short, did you give a shit about your community? Because if you did, and you demonstrated it, and now you're out on the streets, guess what? Your community gives a shit about you. Since Thursday, when I let it be known publicly that I had been let go by iHeart Wednesday, I have not been able to stop answering my phone. And it's not been 1 or 2 people. It has been the other day, Friday morning, I was just tired. I was worn out. I was exhausted because it's an emotional strain. I get that. You know that. My wife said, you need to take a nap. And then she turned off my phone. I took an 1.5-hour nap. I woke up. I missed 12 phone calls and 30 Facebook messages. People care. People are reaching out. People are offering their support. People are wanting to get in business with me because I gave to the community. Because I was, as a friend of mine, who was a libertarian, and we'd go back and forth over some political things. He said, we disagreed on a number of things, but you were a net positive for the community. And I sent back, you say the sweetest things. Years ago, I was at a management meeting, an iHeart management meeting in Orlando, given by the incomparable Linda Bird, who I think is amazing. And I wish she were with the company now, to tell you the truth. And we were all handed these little tiny chalkboards and a little piece of chalk, and the chalkboard was on a stand. And we were told to sit down. It almost felt like a game of match game. We were told to sit down and write one word that described our brand. And it didn't take me 2 seconds to think of it. And the interesting thing was everybody kind of had different answers. Nobody had my answer, which surprised me. But my answer was community. I will tell you what I told a young guy that worked for me who just got promoted into Atlanta. He's been to Washington, D.C. He's a kid I'm really, really proud of. Probably shouldn't call him a kid anymore. Immensely talented. But I remember sitting him down and saying, where do you want to be in 6 months, in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years? What do you want to do? And he told me. And I said, well, here's what you need to do. Everything you do, everything you learn in your job, in your profession, needs to be geared towards getting you to that next stage, that next thing that you want to do, the next step towards where you ultimately want to be. And because everything you do should be acquiring the tools that you need to get better, to do more, to improve for yourself, to not just be able to show up and collect a check every day, but to genuinely share, be part of a community, to genuinely build a skill set. 6 months later, he came into the station and he asked to see me in my office. And he sat down and he said, you remember what you told me a while back about acquiring a skill set and having my eye towards that next thing? I said, yeah. He said, I'm leaving for Louisville next week. I got to turn in my notice. And on the one hand, I couldn't believe I was losing a guy who was so good, so reliable. But on the other hand, how could you not be excited for him, ecstatic for him, delighted for him? You had to be. So here's what I say to you guys. Do you value yourself? Do you genuinely value yourself? We used to have situations where I would sit with the folks that worked when we had a staff that worked for me. And they would come in and they would complain. So-and-so salesperson tried to undercut my talent fee. So-and-so salesperson tried to sell me for half a talent fee. So-and-so. And I would say, well, you have a choice. You can either accept it and announce to the sales staff that I'm only worth half of what I'm supposed to be, or you can fight for what you're worth. Because at that point, talent fees were kind of, what the person thought they were worth. There wasn't really a set standard. And so I couldn't really intervene other than I could say something negative, but I would tell people all the time, fight for what you're worth. Know what you're worth. Hold to what you're worth. And I'm saying that to you now. If you believe in yourself and you believe in your talent and you believe in the brand that you have built, and please tell me you have been working on building a brand, who you are, letting the public know exactly who you are. Don't sit and wallow. Don't sit and have a pity party. Get up. Make them regret it. Make them regret the decision to let you go. And that doesn't mean go directly harm them as a company. What it means is beat them. I know they're a corporate behemoth and you're just a little guy. But the reality is this war is fought on a market by market basis, and you can beat them in your market. And that will be the best revenge. And I'm telling you, if you've built your brand and you have been part of the community and you have made inroads to the community, you've shown that you will give. Your community will give back to you. The opportunities will come to you. I have, in the last couple of days, I'm not going to say I've had any firm offers because nothing's been firm, but I've had exploratory conversations with 3 different radio stations already. I've also, as I've posted on my other videos so far, been exploring the premise of going out on my own. And I have found that there's enough support for that if I wanted to do it tomorrow, I could. Problem is, technically, still work for iHeart. I really can't until I'm able to. So I guess what I'm telling you guys is if you sit around and mope, you're not going to get anywhere. If you got up every day and you gave, and your thoughts every single day were, how can I serve my audience when I'm cracking that mic open? How can I be good for them? How can I make them remember me? And how can I make their lives better? People remember you. People will be coming to you. People will have opportunities for you. When you approach them, they will remember you and think of you fondly, and they will have opportunities for you that maybe they didn't even think about. I can't tell you the number of opportunities. I just said 3 radio stations. There have been a lot of other opportunities that have come my way just in the last couple of days because people saw what I do and what I can do, and I put it on display every day, and I tried my hardest every single day. You can do that too. If you did that, you will have opportunities. You will be okay. I know it doesn't feel good now. I know it doesn't. But sitting and moping, being sad about it, is not going to help you win. Me, I want to win. And I got a lot of opportunities. You will too. Now, I know that iHeart people are going to watch this too. So I just want to say a little something to those guys too. Because when we were first bought by them in 2014, it was a company that was very full of very talented people, and I think it still is in a certain way. But I think you've let your company get very siloed. Almost everyone operates in a silo. Engineering is in a silo. Programming was in a silo. There's really no silo left there, is there? Sales was in a silo. Sound Plus was in its own silo. And the problem is nobody would let you step into their silo. They would protect everything they had, even at the expense of efficiency within the company. That's why it's kind of ironic that a lot of your mass purges have been to improve efficiency within the company. And you continue to do all of this streamlining to create mass efficiency in the company. And you decimated engineering, cut them to the bone. You sold your tower sites. You outsourced traffic to India. And yet, despite all of these things, the profitability has never improved. It almost feels like you have resigned yourselves to riding radio's decline straight down and then jumping off right before it crashes. And the reality is, if you invest in it instead of cutting it to the bone, it won't decline. You guys have owned us for 12 years. I've done the talk show for 14. I have been profitable. I have been a net profit to that company for all 12 of those years. Has the company been profitable for all 12 of those years? You know, even the streaming services, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Apple Plus, all figured it out eventually. And they all really launched hard right around COVID in 2020. And by now they've all, with maybe the exception of Peacock, figured out how to turn it around and make it profitable. But yet you guys are still sitting here trying to come up with the next great thing that's going to make it profitable. And it hasn't happened and it hasn't worked. Maybe there's a different way to do this. But back to you guys who are working on the streets, who are doing the studio work, who are showing up every day, who are giving it everything they had, even if they had a raging headache, even if their knee hurt, even if they had a fight with their wife the night before. We're giving everything to the audience because that's what the audience deserved. You are going to be okay. Opportunities are going to materialize for you. People are going to come to you. Your phone is going to ring if you have done the groundwork first. Good luck. I believe in you. You need to believe in you. Take care. Feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to help you out in any way I can. Take care.